this is Valhalla for the KV-2. I don't think there are a huge number of tanks on the enemy team that this tank cannot one-shot kill if it penetrates the armour. And I should probably introduce the gentleman playing the KV-2 for us today. Nearly 3 minutes into the video and I still haven't actually... Jingles, you crap. Don't ever change. Yes, I know. This is Absonol, by the way. This is actually his first ever game in this machine. 25 rounds of high explosive, which is only right and proper, as you can see. There's his first kill. And 5 rounds of armour piercing, which is 5 more rounds of armour piercing than most people ever equip on this tank. Still, there's no accounting for tastes. His team are already down a third of the team, 5 tanks dead, and they're being outflanked. Top tip: never present the side of your tank to a KV-2. There goes one of the enemy tier 6s, just obliterated. 86mm of penetration, and you can be fighting tier 4 tanks that rarely have 86mm of armour. Machines like that, which often have less than 350 health. Hell, most tier 5 tank destroyers only have 350 health. And, as we all know by now, the KV-2's 152mm high explosive ammunition with 86mm of penetration also has 910 average damage. This is why we love the KV-2. Of course, the gun isn't terribly accurate, but, you know, with great derp comes very, very bad accuracy. So, the Matilda Black Prince didn't take the hint the first time. He really thinks he's going to win this fight. Yeah, I don't think so. I really, really don't think so. Yeah, there we go. That was fairly inevitable. Of course, the great guilty pleasure here, and one of the reasons why everybody loves the KV-2 so much, but really doesn't like admitting it, isn't the fact that the KV-2 does not care if it gets up-tiered and ends in tier 8 matches, because it's got a 152mm howitzer that fires high explosive shells that do 910 average damage. I mean, that's a good reason, but it's not the reason. The reason, well, that's the reason sitting there right in front of him. The KV-2 can also face tier 4 tanks, like that Panzer 38 NA, who clearly has no idea what he's facing, because if he did, he would be turning around and taking Billy Big Steps and... Yeah, too late, sunshine. Far too late. You hung around in front of a KV-2 while it was reloading. What did you expect? Well, he's only tier 4. I mean, it's entirely possible he's only been playing World of Tanks since this morning. So, he had no idea what to expect. He'll know what to expect next time, of course. Unless the next time he's in a Tiger 2, he's probably going to treat the KV-2 with a little bit more respect than that. But you can admit it, you know, we're among friends here, we all know each other. You can be honest. This is why we play the KV-2. When you get up-tiered and you're in a tier 8 game, well, you can still inflict plenty of pain and grief on tier 8 opposition with this howitzer. And when you don't get up-tiered, and you have lots of tier 6, 5s and 4s to shoot at, you can crush their hopes and dreams and make them regret their life choices by one-shotting all of them with this monster 152mm howitzer. What's his opposition? There's the Flat Panzer over there, and there's an M3 Stuart. So, oh, there he is. Oh, really? Cover your eyes, kids. Cruelty to small tanks. Okay, Flat Panzer, Stug 4B, that's the tier 4, not the tier 5 version. 2 artillery. Well, you're in a big slow heavy, you should probably be worried about artillery, yeah? Yeah, not really. Speaking of which, where did that Jagdpanzer 4 go? Where is the Flat Panzer? Where are the Germans? If he has the slightest bit of sense, with this behemoth rumbling towards him, he's running away as fast as his tracks will carry him. And so, of course, he starts camping. There he is, on substantially less than full health. And yeah, you better run away, sunshine. Run, run, run just as fast as you can. You can't escape me, I'm a Russian tin can. He's got a 152mm howitzer that fires a little friend that runs faster than you can. That just leaves Absalom against 2 artillery. To be fair to the Stug 4, he did inflict a substantial amount of damage to him firing that premium ammunition. There's another 0 damage artillery hit. Ho ho ho. And much was made of the fact that at tier 5 this tank used to quite happily fight tier 8s. But that's the point that everybody makes when they refer to what the KV-2 used to be like, that it would quite happily fight tier 8s even as a tier 5 heavy. Well, let's not forget that the matchmaker spread works in both directions. What people forget is that tier 3 tanks used to have to fight this machine. Now just let that one roll around in your head for a few minutes. If you thought that tier 4 Panzer 38NA with its 50mm gun was struggling to do any damage to Absalom, and he was, well, you'd be absolutely right, but imagine trying to do the same thing in an M22 Locust with a 37mm gun, because that's what World of Tanks used to be like. In fact, in a tier 5 match in World of Tanks, the only thing that could damage a KV, as the KV-2 in its current form was known, was another KV, or the Panzer IV, which at the time, and I'm not making this up, used to get the Panther's turret and gun. Seriously, I know the 357 matchmaker is pretty shit and really needs to be changed, but you guys have no idea. This game used to be so much worse, and yet we all enjoyed it, and we kept playing it, and we're still here. But we're going to ease ourselves back into the swing of things with a casual little KV-2 top tier on Himmelsdorf video. Yes, that's right, it's the KV-2, and it's top tier, and it's a city map. There's gonna be carnage. In case you're wondering, yes, that is a Hummel. It's visible just above the minimap there. That is a Hummel coming to fight it out at the top of the hill on Himmelsdorf. When you see what the enemy team have got mustered at the top of the hill here, just imagine what kind of game that Hummel could have had if he'd stayed at the bottom of the hill and actually played artillery rather than coming up to the top of the hill and trying to play a really bad tank destroyer. Mal going for the killing shot on the KV-2 and then realises he can one-shot the Su-85 who's just sitting there waiting to die, takes that shot instead, and yep, that's the Hummel. Mal decides he's going to ram the Hellcat and save his gun for the TOG-2. Remember, this 152mm howitzer can do 910 average damage with its high explosive. Panzer IV-H finishes off the Hellcat before Mal can ram it. He's looking for a spot he can penetrate with his 86mm of penetration, finds it, and suddenly the TOG-2 is wishing he was playing Hello Kitty Online instead. That's the money shot right there. That's what keeps KV-2s lying in bed awake at night, just thinking about getting that penetrating high explosive hit on TOG-2s. 970 plus damage. Holy shit. But it's not the King of Derp. That title is contended solely by the KV-2 and the OI. Where is he? There he is. I can see you. Disappointing. He had the side of the tank. Clearly didn't penetrate. But still, 244 damage? Not bad. I think it's likely the OI knows he's here. Which way's he going? Mal can't really afford to hang around because they're being capped. And he does not have long to reset the cap, and the OI's coming back. Oh, hello! Oh, that was better. That was much better. The T-50 is definitely using an autocannon of some description. He's not doing a lot of damage, but he needs to be aiming for Mal's tracks. Because Mal is going to get to that cap circle with seconds to spare. Wolverine, T-34, who's got the most cap points? No idea. Vaporizes the Wolverine, it was the right choice, resets the cap back down to 28, but there are still 2 tanks in the cap circle, and he can only see the T-34. That T-50 is being a real pain in the arse. He's got him tracked. He should have done that earlier, and they might have won the game. But there are still 2 tanks in that cap circle, and now they've got a dead Wolverine to hide behind. So, of course, one of them isn't using the dead Wolverine. killed a T1 heavy, and apparently he just reversed over and crushed the T50 as well. The OI's sitting there on 5 kills, but his last 3 kills were tanks that didn't even have 100 health between the 3 of them. In fact, they were tanks that he could have one-shotted even if they'd been on full health to begin with. The shot at the TOG-2, for example, was a thing of rare wonder and beauty. I mean, it made me sad inside because it's a TOG-2, but still, nearly 1,000 damage with one shot. You've got to respect that. But where's the OI gone? I didn't foresee the end of this game turning into a match of catchy-catchy, chasey-chasey, kissy-kissy between a KV-2 and an OI. He's got to be pre-aimed around one of these corners, just sitting waiting for Mal, which gives him the advantage. Neither of these tanks have particularly good aiming time, but only the KV-2 fires shots that are guided to the target from the depths of hell by the hand of Stalin itself. 8 kills and a Radley Walters medal for Mal 39 in the King of Derp at Tier 6, the KV-2. Do you notice the only tank he fired at and missed was a Russian tank? Yeah. I'm just saying. 4,112 damage. The rest of his team combined, all 14 other tanks on his team, only did 4,014. And that's why the KV-2 always has been and always will be the King of Derp at Tier 6. The Flat Panzer is not alone, however. There's also a Stuart Emil, been spotted lurking around those bushes, but right now this guy wants to finish off that Tier 6 tank destroyer. And of course, without even being fully aimed, scores a direct hit and claims his first kill of the match. But what about that Stuart Emil? There he is. He's put a shot into his platoon mate, and now he's pulled back into concealment. But top tip, if you're going to start moving back to be able to fire around the bush, at least wait until you're no longer spotted before advertising the fact that you're moving forward again. And there's kill number 2. But hold on, we are not done. Was that a Type 64 light tank we saw camping the back of the map? Well, of course it is. Where else would you expect a light tank to be on mines? And when he was last spotted, he was moving up to that very, very obvious bush around the side of the rock. Yep. Obvious concealment is obvious. Kill number 3. Now remember, he knows that he hasn't sent enough dissidents to the Gulag for Stalin to guarantee this shot. But he's got all the time in the world to aim and make sure it hits. There he is, and he stops, and he aims, and there's nowhere for this guy to go. 90% of the aiming circle on target. But RNGesus giveth, and RNGesus taketh away. You see, that's the thing about the KV-2. You can casually loft shells in the general direction of bushes that may or may not be concealing enemy tanks and score one-shot guaranteed kills 9 times out of 10. But the second the game thinks you're tryharding, well, never let it be said that World of Tanks doesn't have a sense of humour. Oh, the Su-14-2 has blown it again. To be fair, he's probably sweating a little at this point. And Iskaya is going to do it properly this time. He sort of aims, but mostly doesn't. And that's how it's done.